that good?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, ready?
I'm gonna hold it long, bro.
Okay, ready? Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the 31st episode of The Black Couch. This is the first episode of Season 4, and to start off the season, we're going to review The Great Gatsby. So let's get it on.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So, welcome to a review of The Great Gatsby. We just saw it, and first of all, we're just going to talk about the characters, and then we're going to talk about the story. So, let's start with the characters, shall we? First of all, obviously, The Great Gatsby. Jay Gatsby, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. I think I feel like a lot was riding on his performance.
Yeah.
I feel like, but if you've seen our video of why Leonardo DiCaprio deserves an Oscar, we thought him being in The Great Gatsby would earn an Oscar, and honestly, I don't think this is not the one. This is not the hitter, unfortunately. So Leonardo DiCaprio still cannot catch a break, but anyways, in this movie, I think his performance was
good. It was
pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well done.
I read the book, so
right, So Steven's the one who read the book, so
so I think they captured his personality really well in the book. I mean,
right.
In the movie. I mean, in the book, he was exactly how he was in the movie. He was this. They built him up in the beginning as this huge kind of bombastic guy with all these parts. You don't know who he is, but at the end, you understand what his motives are and where he comes from, and why he's doing all these things.
Right.
And I think they really captured the character's kind of overall persona. I mean, I think Leonardo DiCaprio plays it really well. He can be intense at one moment or really just grand in another.
Right.
I think that's what makes him such a good actor.
I feel like his characters are really tragic. I think he's a really tragic character.
Yeah.
He's like he has this big persona. Like he builds up this big persona because of a girl.
Yeah.
And he has all these big things, but he has all these things, but he's empty inside.
Yeah.
Because all he wants is to get with Daisy.
Yeah.
And at first, when you first meet him, he seems like this amazing person who's like, who can do anything. He has a charisma. He has confidence.
He has money.
Everything. But then, as soon as you start knowing him, his character starts breaking down. And he's not who you think he is.
No.
Especially that first scene when he meets Daisy again, he completely falls on his face.
Yeah, he becomes human again.
Yeah, and all his confidence is gone, and his charisma, his character is gone. And he slowly breaks down. And all he wants to do is get with this girl.
Yeah.
And then, some stuff happens, and it becomes a really tragic thing.
I think it's comparable to maybe a Shakespeare story,
Right.
Yes,
and he's such in denial. He's so in the past, because the past is where he was happy.
Yeah.
And, even when Tobey Maguire's character is trying to bring him back to reality,
he can't take it.
He can't take it. He's stuck there. And he's trying so hard to get back to normal.
Because he spent, like, the last
5
years building him up so he can
Yeah.
take back the past and control it.
And he finds out that, Daisy doesn't actually want that stuff. Everything he thought he was doing for her turns out, was mostly for nothing.
Yeah. And it's really kind of this emotional journey.
And he's so ignorant towards the fact that, everything is crumbling beneath him.
But he doesn't even notice.
Yeah, he's just so focused on getting to Daisy.
He's oblivious to all of these things that are happening.
Yeah, and if you don't know, Daisy's the love interest in this movie that's played by
Carey
Mulligan, which we're going to talk about later. But yeah, I feel like,
Leonardo really captured
he captured
the characters.
Gatsby's character, and I completely forgot it was him.
Yeah, I never for once thought, this is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
all I saw was Jay Gatsby.
Right. So
that's when you know an actor does a good job.
Yeah, I think this character really drives this film.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting character.
It's not so much the story, but the character that drives it. Yeah.
So, although I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio is going to get an Oscar for this role, I think
one of his better performances.
Yeah, he is one of his better performances, one of his better characters, and Gatsby done well. And Steven, who has read the book,
It respects the source material in this movie.
Okay, so next character is, Daisy, played by Carey Mulligan.
Oh my gosh.
She's the target of Gatsby's character.
Yeah, kind of what his motives are for.
I think she did so well. I was like, I wasn't really expecting much from her, but when her performance is like really well done, I think like For one moment, she's like, "Oh, I love like Gatsby so much," and the other, she's like, "No, no, no! Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do."
Yes, because she got herself into this huge mess with
yeah.
these two guys, and she doesn't know what she wants. She's confused.
Yeah.
I think she's kind of messing with the feelings of both Gatsby
Leading both of them on.
and her husband Tom, which we're going to talk about later, played by Joel Edgerton. So, but anyways, her character's interesting because she doesn't know what she wants.
Yeah.
She's in the beginning, she's like this like really mysterious, like gorgeous girl that even Tobey's character's like she's so beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And stuff. But then as you get to know her, as Gatsby comes into the picture, she starts to
kind of waver a bit.
waver a bit. She starts to break down, and she starts to cry a lot, and
Yeah.
she's really emotionally
confused.
Yeah. So
and, I think the way Carey Mulligan portrayed this character, I think she dramatized it a lot more.
Right.
In the book, I didn't feel like, oh, okay. In the book, she was like, all right, I get it. She's confused about where her love lies and all that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think in the movie, you really, because the performance, you really feel she's really strained between who she loves and who she doesn't.
right.
So I think she does a really good job in that perspective.
So you think they portrayed this character
Yeah,
well as well, like
Yeah, just like Gatsby.
Right.
I mean, they really captured who this character was and what her emotions.
Yeah, overall, she did a great
Really
great job too. So next character is Tobey Maguire's Nick.
Carraway.
I feel like Nick is who we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
He, I like how he had this image of New York.
Yeah.
Like, oh, New York's so amazing,
Yeah.
so much opportunities. But
Yeah.
by the end of the book,
He's
or the end of the movie,
Yeah.
the story, he completely hates New York.
Yeah, he's
like,
disgusted
He
by
just
it.
he saw the true colors of New York.
Yeah.
His vision of New York starts breaking down.
Yeah.
It's being corrupted. It's not what he thought it was.
Because when you enter New York in the 1920s, it's like the roaring 20s,
Yeah.
stock market's going, everyone's getting money.
Yeah,
money.
I feel like from the outside perspective, his character's like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to go to New York?
New York.
But then once he's there, he's like, there's all corruption, drinking, parties all the time.
you don't know who's telling the truth, who's not.
Yeah, cheating on wives and shit like that. It's chaos.
Yeah.
And he realizes just how horrible some people are in New York.
He's definitely like the outside character.
Yeah.
He's the odd one out because
And
he's like very confused.
He's very relatable in that sense.
Yeah.
And he's like that person that he sees what's going on.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
Gatsby and Tom are fighting and stuff, or he's talking to Daisy, he's there, but he's not in the scene.
Yeah.
He's
No,
just
exactly.
watching, like
Yeah.
we are.
I think in that sense he's kind of like Alfred in the Batman movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's the only kind of character that we can relate to because
Right.
he's the normal guy without any kind of powers or anything.
Yeah.
He's not fighting crime. He's just trying to help his Bruce
Right.
in his adventures, and he's just kind of on the sidelines, just like as Nick is for who we are in the movie respect.
Right.
So basically, he's kind of like, I don't know if this is just us that we think this, but his acting is weird. Like,
Okay, compared to Leo's acting, where we forgot it's Leo, I think Tobey, you kind of tell.
well, yeah.
And that was one of the problems I had with Tobey's acting. You
Yeah.
could really tell that it was Tobey.
It's Toby,
He's
not
not a different
Nick.
character.
No.
And whereas everyone else tries to mimic this accent,
Yeah.
Tobey doesn't do that. He just does his normal accent. That's a bit off-putting for me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think, and obviously because he's been Spider-Man for
Right.
for that period between
Yeah.
2000 and 2007.
Right.
We've known him as Tobey Maguire, as Peter Parker, and it's kind of drilled into us that Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
You forget that he's trying to play a character.
And I mean, he's not horrible.
No,
Yeah,
he's not.
No, he's
But
not.
you can tell he's Tobey.
He
And-
doesn't fit. And maybe that's what they're trying to do.
It's
there.
kinda distracting.
He doesn't fit because
Right, 'cause he's
he
the
sounds
outside.
different. Yeah.
So I guess that kind of works, but his acting's kind of, But what really drawn me to his character was, that scene where the first party with, Tom and his mistress
yeah.
and stuff in that house. Before then, I wasn't really into this movie, but that scene really got me interested because it started getting me related to Tobey because he's not a drinker, he's
No,
not a
yeah.
partier, but then suddenly he's in New York and he has to do these things to fit in. So I thought it was interesting, but I also thought he didn't really have much character. Like his character doesn't really have much character.
And in the book, you don't get much either.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
because you start out, it's after the war, he's finished,
Right.
he's just trying to sell bonds, he's trying to make it for himself, and then he meets Gatsby and all this
Right.
stuff
So
happens.
would you say that it's still, even though he's a comic character, that's
That's who he was in the book.
so that's still adapted.
So faithfully, it's adapted.
I feel like he's an interesting character, but I wanted to know more about him.
Yeah.
But once Gatsby gets in the picture, he's completely thrown to the
Yeah.
side. So yeah, there's not much characterization for that, and I feel like he's just a mask for the audience.
And I think what they did with the narration through the doctor kind of relationship.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
I like that.
I think it adds more of a depth to his character that the book didn't.
Yeah, because he's telling the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, and overall, Tobey did okay.
I
think
average.
everyone else were strong characters, but he was okay, and his character was cardboard character because in the book he was a cardboard character. So it was fine.
Yeah.
And then finally the last three characters, Tom, forgot her name,
Myrtle
Wilson, and
Jordan
Baker. So these are the side characters.
Yeah.
I don't know why she was in this.
She
I mean, I'm sorry. Sure, sorry.
Well, she didn't really have that big of a role. I feel like
She just was there.
I think the director did really well in adapting the book. I mean, they included everything of all the characters. I think, in the book she never had that much of a.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
because her sole purpose was so that Gatsby could tell her that thing that we can't say yet.
Yeah.
And then,
but Myrtle,
Myrtle,
I feel like. Although she's barely in this movie, she does have an integral part towards the end.
She's the turning point.
Yeah, but that just makes it seem like her character's only useful for that.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I guess it kind of contributes to Tom's character because she's his mistress, and that really contributes to his character. But I feel like the other two girl roles didn't really have that much of a significance besides Myrtle at the end.
And Jordan's with her.
Yeah, but other than that, after their use is gone, you completely forget about that. So that's whatever. But Tom's character, I feel
very interesting.
I feel like he also had everything. I feel like he had a wife, he also had a mistress, and then when Gatsby comes into the picture, that shit falls apart.
Yeah, so Tom and Gatsby are kind of two sides of the same coin.
Right. Yeah.
Where he has everything. Where he has the woman, he has the house.
And that such falls apart. Yeah. And Gatsby wants those things.
Yeah,
but he kind of can't really get into that. Plus the fact that Tom was born rich.
Yeah.
And Gatsby wasn't. So that's kind of a dynamic there. And there was a lot of tension between those two.
I think their interaction.
There was a good contrast between.
Right. So I thought that was interesting and. Although he is kind of like the bad guy, I didn't really dislike him that much. Because, you actually still feel for him, even though he's a bit hypocritical sometimes.
Yeah, because he comes from a good place.
Yeah, and you see Gatsby stealing his wife.
Yeah.
And although, yes, you're rooting for Gatsby too, you're like, oh, I don't want Tom to lose his wife. That sucks, right?
Yeah. But then again, you're like, oh, what does it matter? He has a mistress.
Yeah, but then, that scene where she has Carey Mulligan's character has to tell him that, oh, I never loved you.
Yeah.
That was kind of frustrating because although you don't like Tom, it still kind of sucks, right?
Yeah.
So the side characters were okay. I feel like Tom was the stronger out of those side characters.
I think Joel Edgerton really also captured.
I like Joel Edgerton's performance
because he in the book he was really kind of not like a I don't know how to say it. He's not an asshole.
Right.
But he's like snotty.
Yeah, a bit snotty. Where he has everything, but he's like a huge hypocrite about where his wife spends his time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Joe really...
I feel like he has the right place, but his actions really contradict
what
exactly. He wants to actually do on the inside.
Yeah.
Although he has mistresses and stuff, he secretly still loves Daisy inside.
But he just can't express it.
Yeah, he just can't express them. He's a different kind of character. Yeah. And Gatsby, in contrast, is more of a...
He actually does those things to show that he likes
He's
her.
obsessed with her. And she's like... And Tom has her, and he doesn't really do anything. And I think that's why Gatsby kind of frustrated with the fact
and that's why he threatens their relationship.
Right, because he can't get her, but
he's
tried so hard to get her, and Tom has her, but he doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he doesn't show that he gives a shit.
Yeah.
They're both on opposite ends of the spectrum. Like one of them is like obsessed, the other is like okay.
Yeah. So overall, the characters,
really faithful to the book.
Really faithful to the book, and coming from me and Anna, who haven't read the book, I feel like the characters were pretty strong. Besides these two women characters, most of them were pretty strong. And the characters were fine.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the story. Now I feel like
it was kind of boring. I don't know.
Okay, let's talk about the pluses first.
Okay.
The pluses, one of them, I like the scenery stuff.
Yeah, it was stylized.
It was really beautiful.
And the director's known for that kind of
if you watch,
style.
we watched
Romeo plus Juliet.
Romeo plus Juliet. This story, like the relationship between Daisy and Gatsby is very similar to the one in Romeo and Juliet. I totally see the kind of thing that the director is going for really reminded me of the same thing.
Right,
and like the parties and everything, it was really
it's over the top, extravagant.
Did you notice how every set piece had really bright colors?
Yeah, it's all over in your face, and it's like really nice to watch.
It's just trying to accentuate how rich people felt in the 1920s because
it's kind of like exactly like what you said. They're trying to like show off like. Exaggerate how
how the Roaring '20s were really this huge kind of
and it was like a big party all the time, having fun, everyone. And I feel like most of the New York skyline stuff was pretty nice, although sometimes you could tell it was like CGI.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a beautiful movie.
Yeah,
it was extravagant colors, very nice to watch.
But not enough for it to be merited as a 3D movie.
Right?
So here's the story. We tried to watch the movie at our local theater, but it only had the 3D time.
Yeah, we were like,
so we had to go to another theater where it doesn't have 3D.
And I didn't understand why they only showed the 3D.
Yeah, I don't feel like this movie merits 3D. I mean,
just one scene.
There's one or two scenes in the party maybe that does have 3D, but other than that, it's not really.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff is talking scenes. But
it's just not necessary.
Yeah, but the story, I think, what drives the story is Gatsby's character.
Yeah.
And Tom's character.
Yeah. And their co-relationship.
Yeah, and Gatsby and Daisy's relationship. Because they have a lot of chemistry together.
Yeah.
And, you can see how happy he is when he's with her. And you see how frustrated he is when he doesn't have her.
Yeah, I think the way they Leonardo and Carey acted, you feel like they were really connected on screen.
Yeah, and how torn she was when
she has to decide.
Yeah, she has to decide. And that scene where she's trying to light that cigarette, and he touches him, and if you feel that electricity. It's like something sacred.
And you see Tom's character in the back. Tom in the back. He's
like so frustrated. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing with my wife? You piece of shit! I'm with her. What the hell are you doing, outside person?"
Yeah. I thought that was a really good scene for Tom. Actually. Like it looked like he was like gonna like go and like.
And you got a feel for him. He's a bad guy, like I said before. But technically, it was a tense scene. But any other positives you guys want to talk about?
Architecture of the buildings are really nice.
The houses. I mean, this house, like Tom's house and Gatsby's house,
really
crazy.
Well done.
I mean, even Nick's house, Tobey Maguire's house. At first, it was like kind of trashy, but then Gatsby comes and fixes it up. It looks really nice.
Like I love the vintage feel of this. Like all the costumes were really nice. Like especially
the costumes.
Especially Daisy's. Like the dresses were immaculate. Like oh my gosh.
Okay, let's talk.
And and I just want to say that the overall story arc was really well adapted onto the screen.
Right.
Like, as I was watching, I was comparing. that happened in the book. That happened in the that. Okay, that didn't happen in the book, but I see why they did that.
Yeah.
So there were points where they took liberties, but it worked.
Okay, so that's a positive.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about the negatives now.
The music.
And I heard you were talking about how like they adapted.
I can't with the book. So when I was watching, it's like, okay, that was in the book. That was in the book. I was like, do you really need to put that on the screen? Really?
Yeah, and like we were talking about this, like. Book pacing doesn't necessarily translate with the movie.
No,
and like you said, like you were talking about earlier, how the fact that maybe they're trying to go for the book too much, that they try copying
like page by page.
Book pacing, but then they realize, that's too slow, so they add their own pacing, and it just like
the pacing was really weird.
Yeah, it was like really chaotic and stuff, and I felt that too, even though I didn't read the book. I noticed it. You were gonna say the music?
Music is okay. Lana Del Rey song, beautiful.
Yeah, Lana Del Rey was the only singer.
It was kind of the main theme of the movie.
Yeah, and that fit with the movie. But like Jay-Z, will.i.am.
Yeah, that was just
like, and even Beyonce, where that song they tried to like make it seem like it's really old, like it's in that time period. But you can it's distracting because these songs from this era, and just like just doesn't fit.
I think if they had a more classical soundtrack, it would have worked.
Yeah.
Besides Lana Del Rey song, the other songs were really distracting, really annoying. I feel like.
Except maybe during the party scenes they played like upbeat music. Okay.
But I like the songs, but I just don't think
they don't fit.
Yeah.
Like even though it kind of fits, it doesn't just.
It doesn't fit like.
It would have gone better with older music. Older sounding music.
And the sound editing was weird. Where like written dialogue, there was this huge
it was like
drowning noises, and you can't hear the dialogue.
Yeah. Another problem is because they adapted it too much. The movie's long as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But I was checking the time. Like, I got really bored.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest offensives for a movie.
It's 2.5 hours.
I mean, being bad is one thing, but being boring and long is another thing.
It's excessively long.
Yeah, because even if it's bad, people will still watch it. But if you've lost their viewers' attention,
that's worse.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could have cut a lot of scenes out, and like you said, they tried adapting it way too much.
And then when they tried to adapt it too much, they realized, oh crap! But it was too late at that point. Yeah. So they just had to fix that and end it.
And I think this is the example of how
you're allowed to take liberties when adapting a book.
how maybe sometimes adapting it too well isn't really that great for the movie. Sometimes you gotta take liberties. Yeah. You gotta change some shit for the movie to flow better. Yeah. And I feel like that was the biggest mistake for this movie.
Yeah. And that sucks because the author is not around to put his input.
Exactly. Yeah. So overall, The Great Gatsby is an interesting movie. Even though a lot of people didn't seem to like it, and even though the movie is long and boring, I still really enjoyed it.
Because the characters were interesting, it was well acted, the sets were beautiful.
And as someone who read the book, what do you...
I mean, from the book pages to the screen, I like how they add their own style to it. Because in the book, it was really, like, as the movie is, the story, it is kind of boring. Like, at points in the book. So, I like how they added extra scenes where it gives you backstory, it gives you kind of, like, insight into the characters, and the really, like, big lights and shows and stuff. Yeah. It makes it more exciting than if you read the book.
And as me and Anna, who haven't read the book, we still kind of enjoyed it. And I feel like, sometimes people read the book first, they might not enjoy the movie as much because they compare it too much. But, you seem to like it, and,
overall consensus, we all kind of...
Yeah, we all kind of like it. So let's give scores to the movie. I guess I'll go first. Despite it being really long and boring, I still really enjoyed it. And that has to do with the Gatsby character.
And Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and so overall, I give the score an 8 out of 10. Anna?
I was really torn because I'm like, the excessively long film kind of threw me off, but I'm still going to give it an 8 because characters are well done.
8. You?
I'm going to give 7.5.
7.5.
Just because even though it's really well adapted, it's just too long for me. And the pacing is really just kind of, it wasn't flowing well.
And for me, I feel like I can kind of forgive the pacing because of the character.
Me too.
He just really drawn me to the movie. But that's just how I feel. So, overall consensus across the board, average score, 8 out of 10. And I really recommend you watch this movie. You might not like it, you might like it. It really depends on how you feel about the pacing.
And how you feel about the character.
Yeah, and would you recommend for people who have read the book?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they really... I'm a broken record by now, but it's a really well adapted story. Yeah. And I think they added their own style to it, and it still captures the main kind of story arc of the book, and it captures the integrity of what the point they're trying to get across about. You can't just look at a city and be like, oh, it just looks beautiful, but you have to get into it and see, oh, these are the kind of people that live here. This is what they do for their job, and how that kind of interacts with the economy.
We talk about how corrupted some people are and stuff like that. And me and Anna, as people who have not read the book, I recommend you check it out.
Yeah,
you might not like it, you might like it,
boring,
but I still recommend check it out. I mean, some movies are so bad, I don't think you should waste your time, but. This can be 50-50. You never know.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, it goes both ways, and I recommend you check it out. It's not bad. So, that's it for this episode of The Black Couch. This was episode 31, first episode of season 4. If you guys watched The Great Gatsby, please give your comment down below. Tell us what you think. Do you like the movie? Do you hate the movie? Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's boring? Do you think it's interesting? Do you like the characters? Comment on what you think we thought of the movie. Do you agree with us? Disagree with us? If you read the book like Steven did, what did you think? Did you think they adapted well? Do you agree with Steven's opinion on, how they adapted it? And if you haven't read the book, what did you think too? Do you agree with me and Anna on our perspective of the movie? Just give your comment down below. That was a huge ass item, but give your comment down below. And that's it for this episode. If you guys liked it, please give it a like. If you liked it even more, please favorite it. Like it even more, please share it. Subscribe to our channel for updated content. Also subscribe to our personal channels. We have stuff there too. And that's it. We'll see you guys on the next Black Couch.